It's January 8th, 2021, and it has now been 2 days since the far right domestic terrorists raided the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., while they were trying to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election. So, I've already made a video on this 2 days ago. The United States Capitol building was invaded by far right domestic terrorists because originally they were protesting outside of the Capitol building. They were protesting the certification of the election results because they wanted Donald Trump to win, and they couldn't accept the fact that Joe Biden won. But after a while they were starting to count, while they were starting to verify the electoral college votes, these domestic terrorists broke into the Capitol building and caused a lot of chaos, a lot of damage, caused a lot of property damage, and worst of all of this chaos in total resulted in the deaths of at least 5 people. That is not even to mention the number of extra deaths that could result from COVID being spread to these people. But at least 5 people have died from these riots, and it was just a very tragic event. After all of the riots were dealt with, after all the riots cleared up, later on that night, the night of January 6th, that is when the Electoral College results actually got certified. And that's when it was certified that Joe Biden did indeed win the 2020 presidential election. So now he will be inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States, and this will be taking place on January 20th, 2021, 12 days from now. Now, another thing is happening on January 20th, 2021, and it relates to this channel, and in fact, it's the entire reason why I'm making this video today. Basically, on January 20th, 2021, 12 days from now, I will be changing the name of this channel from Horseshoe Politics to something else. Potentially Horseshoe News, but probably not now that I think about it because that sounds like a pretty bad name in my opinion. I will change the name of this channel to something else. I don't know yet, I still have time to decide. But this is more than just a name change. To me, this symbolizes me trying to essentially take a different turn with this channel, move on from just covering news related to politics. I would like this YouTube channel to take a different turn basically. And the reason for that is because there's actually many reasons for that, but one of the reasons that the last few months, actually the last year essentially, has been absolutely depressing. It's been absolutely tragic, all the bad things that have happened. And I just would like to take a different turn with this channel. I don't want to cover events specifically related to politics anymore. After what happened 2 days ago, I don't really want to cover this anymore because it's too divisive in my opinion, and no matter what happens, someone's going to be angry. But also, the 2020 election is basically over now. The electoral college results were certified. Joe Biden is going to be inaugurated in 12 days, and after that, the 2020 election cycle is completely done. Senate races finished up, the House races have finished up, except some special elections that will take place for the vacant seats, and the presidential elections completely done now. All the results have been certified. The only thing left is inauguration, which is in 12 days. But I would like this channel to take a different turn because one, purely covering political events is too divisive, and like it's just no fun to do anymore with how depressing all the news is, especially with what happened 2 days ago. I think that is what broke the camel's back, especially for me, but in general for this country, because for the past year it's been event after event of unfortunate circumstances. So for the past year, you've had a series of events with very bad outcomes. You had the pandemic, you had the killing of George Floyd, then you had the killing of Jacob Blake, and then you had the Kyle Rittenhouse incident, for example. Then you had the death of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and then you had the election and the chaos that followed after the election. All of this, and there's many other things that I haven't even talked about in this video, but I've probably talked about in some other videos. And there's even things that I haven't talked about at all that still are unfortunate and made this year worse, made the past year worse. But all this, I think, led up to what took place on January 6th. See, when people in the future read their history books and look at 2020 or 2021, I don't think January 6th is going to be like its standalone date, because I think that's inaccurate to just say that it all took place on January 6th. In reality, everything that has happened, not only the past year even, but even the past few years, has been leading up to this moment, January 6th. And I think that January 6th is just the straw that broke the camel's back. All the tension that was building up until that date, it all let loose on that date with the riots, because there was a growing sense of division in this country, but we were able to see the disastrous impacts of this division on January 6th, when you had those far right domestic terrorists cause so much violence, cause so much damage, and result in at least 5 people losing their life. It's just too much to handle, honestly, just covering purely political events. Originally, I made this channel to cover the 2020 presidential election, or the 2020 elections in general, mainly the presidential election, but the elections overall. And originally, this channel was actually going to be a mapping channel. Like, if you look at the first couple of videos on my channel, I had the political map, and basically I was talking about the ways the electoral college could go. I think my first 2 videos were how the election could result in a tie. That was my original intention for this channel, talk about predictions for the 2020 elections, but once the elections cleared up, and even before then, I started switching to more political news-based videos. So I would talk about political events that have taken place. So originally the name of this channel was Horse Race Politics, but I thought Horseshoe Politics was had a better sound to it, but what was consistent was that politics was in the name. But I would like to switch away from that. I don't want to just have this channel be centered around politics. That's not to say I'm not going to cover any political events. I will cover political events if I think that, one, I can cover them without being biased in any way. Two, the events are actually meaningful, there's some meaning to them. And three, I don't get overwhelmed by that event. Like, what happened 2 days ago, it's almost too much for me to handle. Like, I talked about it in my previous videos, but I don't know, it's just a lot to handle. So I think that after Joe Biden gets inaugurated, this channel is going to take a different turn. I was thinking that I would focus on the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic starting then. I think that's the number one thing that needs to be focused on right now. I really don't want to focus on politics at this point. I think what needs to be focused on is the COVID-19 pandemic. And yes, politics does tie into that. I understand that. But even then, I feel like wasting time on things that aren't really important in the grand scheme of things is not a way to really spend my time or spend my effort. Now, the reason why I'm even bringing up this point is because in the past few hours, or the past day, I guess even, they've been talking about impeaching President Trump for what all happened in the past couple days. And the reason why I'm not a fan of this is because, one, I don't think it's good for this country in terms of reuniting it. I think that it'll only cause more division if you try to impeach him. I think that it's best to just wait it out, these last 12 days out, because there's only 12 days left to begin with. After these 12 days are up, Joe Biden's president. And two, I think that what's a better course of action, what's a better thing to do is, once Trump is out of office, see if there's anything that he can be arrested for, see what he did wrong, see if he broke any laws, committed any crimes, and then arrest him for that, instead of wasting time with impeachment now when we have more deaths per day from this virus than ever before. See, one of the biggest reasons why I've been really angry with what else happened in the past couple of days is that nobody even notices that 4,000 people are dying per day from COVID-19 now. It's higher now than ever before. I made a video talking about it yesterday, but nobody's focusing on it because these riots happened and it caused a lot of damage, but now we're focusing on the aftermath of that, and a lot of people are talking about removing Trump from office, impeaching Trump. And no matter how bad you think Trump is, no matter how guilty you think he is, I don't think impeachment is the right course of action. If you think that Trump genuinely did something wrong to the point where it broke the law, then what I think should be done is you try to arrest him after he's out of office. But now I think we need to focus on COVID-19 and getting this pandemic under control. It's been almost a year since this pandemic first started breaking loose in the United States. It's been a year since it broke loose in China, but in the United States it's been around 10 months, and it's worse than ever. And every single day I look at those stats on worldometers.com. It brings me no joy to see that new spike. Like yesterday, I made the video talking about the 4,000 deaths that were that day and the 274,000 new cases. And it's no fun to talk about, but I think those are the topics that need to be talked about, not these political events like trying to impeach Trump. I don't think there's any purpose of impeaching Trump. I don't think there's any point in impeaching Trump at this point when he has 12 days left in office. He's going to be out of office by 2 Fridays from now. He's already not going to be president any longer. So I think that just wait for Joe Biden to become president, and then if Trump has actually broken any laws, then arrest him in that instance. But just impeaching him now when we have 4,000 people per day dying from COVID, that's not a good idea in my opinion, because then you're shifting the conversation away from what matters most right now, COVID-19, because this virus, like I said, thousands of people died per day from it. I don't think we should be shifting the conversation from that. So I think that once Biden's inauguration happens, this channel will mostly be focused on the COVID-19 crisis and the recovery from that, and the current state of things. That's what the majority of my videos are going to be about. If there's some breaking news event, if there's some major event that takes place, then I will definitely cover that. But now that all the elections are up, I don't think that's going to be there as often. So I think the most important thing to focus on from this point onwards is the COVID-19 crisis, and I don't think impeachment is the right thing to do. Not because I don't think Trump is guilty. I think that there's definitely things that Trump has done that have been very divisive, very bad for this country, and has only caused division in this country. And I think that Trump definitely did play a role. Trump definitely should be held accountable for his role in fueling the fire that caused these riots 2 days ago. But I don't think impeachment's the right way to hold him accountable for that. I think that maybe trying to arrest him if he actually broke any laws once he's out of office, that would be a better thing to do. But this is just something I wanted to get off my chest. I've been reflecting on this for the past day or two, and I think that this channel needs to take a turn and mainly focus more on COVID-19, but also focus less on, like, specifically political issues, because I think that at this point it's too divisive, and I think that at this point in time the best thing for this country to do is unite. But you guys leave your opinions. If you want, you guys can leave suggestions for what my new channel name could be. And if you disagree with something I said in this video, feel free to comment that, and I'll see your suggestion. I'll read all the comments. Feel free to let me know if I said something that you disagree with, and we can have a conversation over that. We can talk it out.